So you wake up on Monday morning and you find out that Trump is quote unquote pissed off. Simultaneously, Elon Musk launches a major investigation and the White House goes in absolute panic mode. Have you heard of all the moving parts that just occurred? Oh, don't worry. Nancy's not going to be happy either. As a matter of fact, many in Congress won't be pleased at all with what's about to happen, and it sets the White House absolutely on fire. The story I'll bring you here in just 1 minute. Okay, I covered this story for you yesterday. Again, you're ahead of the news cycle. See what a little elbow grease and research will do for you. What you're seeing here is one of the videos released by CENTCOM showing another of a U.S. attack into Yemen. Major breaking news here. We told you this story was going to intensify, and sure enough, it does. This was the video I did for you yesterday, trying to keep you ahead of this major news cycle as Trump is moving assets, and more assets into the region. Of course, the man knows how to negotiate, doesn't he? He warned the Houthis, you continue. And remember, if you continue, we will attack. And for every attack that occurs that the Houthis do, I will blame Iran for it. 1 for 1. Well, overnight, U.S. airstrikes now hitting more than 40 locations across Yemen, according to many news sources, not just one. I won't do that. The U.S. Military Central Command, which now has authority from the White House to strike offensively in Yemen without pre-approval, did not immediately acknowledge conducting any raids. The new campaign of airstrikes, what the Houthis say killed at least 57 people, that can't be confirmed yet, started after the rebels threatened to restart targeting ships in the Red Sea. But how are they doing it? I showed you yesterday, and again, click back to the video if you're restricted. Make sure you watch it. If not, I'll put a link above. I want you to check that video out. Very critical. Before we get into the White House absolute panic mode, which we're about to, well, rumors now of a mysterious airstrip, as you see Yemen, where the attacks are occurring. If we were to zoom in right to this little island right here, it appears the UAE and the United States may be working together here on what once was just a strip of land. Well, now rumors swirling that that strip of land has been developed further into an airstrip. Now appearing on Mayoun Island, a volcanic outcropping in the center of Bab al-Mandeb Strait off Yemen. Yes, I probably mispronounced it, but the critical fact is those attacks we discussed yesterday are fully underway right now. And my feeling is they are only going to intensify further because you can't negotiate with a terrorist. Haven't we heard that before? And people are acting so surprised and shocked over this. No, these are developments that everyone should have seen coming, but there's many stories everyone should have seen coming. This banter back and forth between Russia and Trump. And now Trump saying he is pissed off and very angry at Putin. But again, remember, this is 4D chess. The only way you will bring Putin into the fold is either by a show of force or a show of force. It's a story we're going to continue here in just 1 minute. Now, before we do, and as I do every broadcast, because it is critical, because us, well, conservative voices, libertarian voices, well, it appears a lot of people don't like when our audience grows. Well, unfortunately for them, it is growing, and it's growing daily, and for that, thank you so much. But please, if you're new here, subscribe to the channel. If you think you're subscribed, as always, double check and make sure your bell is checked to all so you're alerted to my upcoming broadcasts. So many of you provided support yesterday. I know I asked for it because there's a lot of things I want to do with the channel as this channel continues to grow, and it's accelerating beyond my wildest imagination. For that, thank you. For those who provided super thanks, thank you. For those who joined as members yesterday, thank you. And for all of you that went over to Restricted Republic to join Lisa Haven and myself on our own network. That's right, there's no commercials or interruptions at restrictedrepublic.com. You can cancel anytime via your dashboard, but once you're there, you get all our broadcasts, including the exclusive content that is only available there, and I want you there today. So please go to restrictedrepublic.com. It means the world to us, and you'll see everything we're working on to provide you the knowledge you need to interpret these complex events in very black and white terms. But now let's get back to this broadcast. So what two things are setting the White House in such a panic? Trump escalates tariff plan to include new charges on all countries across the world in chilling threat. I love how they always put it as a chilling threat. He continues to refine this tariff policy he's utilizing to bring people to the negotiating table. You see, people don't like their goods costing more as they come into the United States because then they won't sell as much, which provides them less money in their pockets, and less money in their pockets doesn't really help to fund their government so well. Fairly simple concept. Trump calling this, and the White House calling this, Liberation Day. Well, liberation from the constraints of international markets dominating over American industry. Again, simple, right? America first. Has he ever stood for anything else other than that? And now, how does this affect things? Well, Putin's not playing ball the way Trump wants. So everybody who says they're just such good chummy pals should look at what's happening behind the scenes. Trump is the only one who can control Putin, if anyone can. And now Trump is very angry and pissed off at Putin's move and makes an unexpected threat of what? Put it in the comments. Additional tariffs. You see, there's two ways as a show of force. One, I'm going to make your oil cost so much that you're just going to have to keep it and nobody's going to be buying it, which means you don't get profit. Or you go to the negotiating table. On top of that, I'm going to start staging some very heavy military assets, well, all around your interests. I'm going to fight you at Greenland. And when he fights Putin, he's also fighting China. And this will continue to develop and take shape. We just have to take it in the steps that are shown to us and those we can back up. Angering Trump now, but there's a lot more that's going to anger him. When Putin criticized the credibility of Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and started talking about new leadership in Ukraine, allegedly that upset Trump, but Trump himself doesn't like Zelensky at all, so I don't think that's the real root of the problem here. No, that's simplistic chess. Trump is far beyond that right now. The administration is far beyond that. The president admits talks were not going in the right direction, and he plans to speak with Putin this week, and this time around, better not be kept waiting. And that is how you demand respect. And Trump is the only one that did that because Biden demanded no respect. And so Trump is doubling down, like Putin is doubling down and continuing attacks in Ukraine, trying to make his position stronger in this negotiation. Trump, to make his position stronger, threatened to add a second tariff on Russian oil if he deems that Putin is the one not willing to strike a peace deal. If Russia and I are unable to make a deal on stopping the bloodshed in Ukraine, and if I think it was Russia's fault, which it might not be, but if I think it was Russia's fault, I'm going to put secondary tariffs on oil and all oil coming out of Russia. And that, my friends, is how you negotiate on the international stage. But don't, Justice, you don't know what you're talking about. Ukraine's got the backing of UK, France, Germany. They're ready to go. So Putin's got to be scared. Oh, yeah, scared. Here is a recent footage of Germany launching one of their destructive missiles. This is what Putin has to fear. You'll see it, don't worry. In a second, it will all take shape for you. Because things don't work out real well here. Because if you're trying to have a show of force and you're ready to go, well, your missile shouldn't completely malfunction, fall to the ground, and explode damn near right where you launched it. Now, that's not a show of force. That's a show of absolute catastrophic failure. Because if you had any control, you would have terminated it before it hit the ground and exploded. But could you imagine Zelensky sitting in his little throne right now like, oh my goodness, this is the support I have. Without the U.S., I am doomed. But go ahead, continue to pull back your mineral rights deals from us and tell the Trump administration one thing and do another, because that's going to end well for you. But Trump's got everyone on edge right now. Even people within the White House. Politico, Trump officials, allies grow anxious about April 2nd tariffs, is what they're calling Liberation Day. No one knows what the F is going on, said one White House ally close to Trump's inner circle. Granted anonymity to speak freely, which means it's an inside source again, so we don't know the validity of this statement. What are they going to tariff? Who are they going to tariff? And what rates? Likely, that are like the very basic questions haven't been answered yet. Well, why would he answer for you? Why would he tell you? Do you think his inner circle knows? Because they do, and I assure you that you are not an ally close to his inner circle, or else you would already know. So take these statements only at face value. But before we get to the other panic mode, why the White House goes on absolute edge, what does Trump do? He puts another barb in just to drive them all crazy.
Shut down. They've never seen anything like this.
At an appropriate precedent limits a president to 2 terms. Is it your understanding that they have to
I don't even want to talk about it. I'm just telling you, I have had more people say, please run again. They said, we have a long way to go before we even think about that. But I've had a lot of people.
Oh, you gotta love how he gets them all worked up, doesn't he? They go absolutely crazy, but don't underestimate that thought process. Not that he would be president again, but what if J.D. Vance was to run for president and Trump was to be his vice president? You see, very complex concepts put in very black and white terms. So is there a mechanism there? There's always a way, right? But not the only thing to put the White House in panic mode, as he continues to just barb them and keep them off kilter so they don't know which direction he's going. Well, Elon Musk is a little bit more direct, and he just got the attention of a lot of congressional members with this statement.
A lot of strangely wealthy members of Congress, where I'm trying to connect the dots of how did they become rich while earning, how'd they get 20 million if they're earning 200,000 a year? It sounds, nobody can explain that. So something's, yeah, we're going to try to figure it out and certainly stop it from happening.
Oh, could you just imagine heads imploding everywhere right now? Now, this is really nothing new. It shouldn't be shocking. Business Insider covered this in 2021 Conflicted Congress. Key findings from insiders, 5-month investigation into federal lawmakers' personal finances. But it's amazing how they can come after we the people all the time with additional taxes, take our money, put it through USAID, spend it where things they don't even know what they're spending it on. But when it comes to them, they can't pass a simple legislation of not allowing for congressional members to trade. And the person who's fought most against it sits there right in the middle, Nancy Pelosi, right? Full report coming out. Political trading in 2023, like every year since 2020, U.S. politicians beat the market. Wonder how that happens, huh? Or I can give you a little insight. Remembering that their salary, which is posted, easy to find, right? The compensation for most senators, representatives, delegates, and the resident commissioner for Puerto Rico is $174,000. As Elon Musk said, around $200,000. The only exception would be Speaker of the House at $223,000 and minority leaders in the House and Senate at $193,000. But how then can they be worth, and I'll go full screen, Rick Scott's net worth $551 million, Nancy Pelosi $252 million, Vern Buchanan, $249. Mark Warner, $243. Darrell Issa, $234. Man, they're doing well. Daniel Goldman, $183. Supposed to represent we the people, but it appears when you have that many net worths over $100 million, heck, let's go down a little bit lower here. Let's just see how many are above $50 million. 22 members of Congress. And you think maybe something could be going on here? They've tried to pass legislation, right? Prevent elected leaders from owning securities and investments, the Pelosi Act. But who has fought hardest against it? Nancy Pelosi. And Jesse Waters out of Fox News, well, it gives us a reminder of exactly how much she's fought it.
This is coming just after Nancy's husband, Paulie P., hit the jackpot again after buying up shares of a company directly impacted by the new chip bill.
Over the course of your career, has your husband ever made a stock purchase or sale based on information he received from you?
No, absolutely not.
And she exits stage left. It's not the only time she's spoken on this, though. No, Nancy's spoken on a few things before. And one thing she has always resolutely stood for. When asked, should members of Congress, well, listen in here for a moment.
Should members of Congress and their spouses be banned from trading individual stocks while serving in Congress?
No, I don't know to the second one. We have a responsibility to report in the stock, on the stock, but I'm not familiar with that 5-month review, but if people aren't reporting, they should be. Because this is a free market and we're a free market economy. They should be able to participate in that.
So my question's simple. What say you? What do you think? Should they be allowed to trade when they allegedly have access to information and legislation? Or could it sway legislation if they know or are able to profit above what you and I could profit on based on that information? It's an overriding question, and now Elon Musk is going to search for answers on. And it puts the White House even in further panic mode as Trump keeps them all on edge, always guessing. No idea which direction he's going to go. And alleged insiders, man, they just say it's a White House divided and it's absolute anarchy. But folks, it's not as crazy as it appears. No, it's all a game of chess. Remember, all the world's a stage and all the government's a stage, and I just don't want to be a player. Now I work day and night to sit here and make all these very complex concepts really black and white because it's not as complex as they want you to think it is. But that announcement by Elon Musk, that announcement by President Trump, that announcement that causes the White House, those announcements, to go into an absolute panic mode is simply more visibility being brought to what's been going on behind our backs. And frankly, I am tired of my taxpayer dollars going to support it. And I hope to see a lot more change very, very soon. And Elon Musk and his investigation may provide us for exactly that. But don't worry, we'll go to the courts and the courts will try to hold it up like they've done everything, right? I have a feeling that in the very near future here, these courts are going to learn a very valuable lesson because our founding fathers provided a blueprint as to why the courts and what they're doing can't really do it. Their job is only judgment. It doesn't mean they have the authority to do anything about that judgment. No, only the executive branch and in certain elements, Congress have the ability to take action. They're the only ones that hold the swords, and it's a report I'm working on and will bring you later this week. Can't thank you enough for being here. Until next time, Godspeed and God bless. Justus Knight, signing out.